Chariots of Israel. Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praises, honor, glory, respect, and blessings to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rekakwadash. Salutations to the Lord's elect on the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth and sincerity, while patiently waiting for Yahweh Shai's return, and double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, which have taught us everything we know through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. And this is going to be another basic lesson which the apostles have commanded us to go into. And, this is pretty much going to be a milk lesson, for you brothers who are newly coming in. So this lesson is going to be about the chariots of Israel. Okay? So without further ado, I'm going to get right into it. Zechariah chapter 5 verse 1. Then I turned and lifted up mine eyes, and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Okay, so this flying roll is talking about a so-called UFO. Okay, because so-called UFOs are mentioned in the Holy Scriptures. And basically, when you look at a chariot of Israel, it looks like a wheel within a wheel. So it says, and he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits. So this chariot was pretty big, man. Okay, this was a pretty big so-called UFO. They don't look all that big to people because people always record these spiritual vehicles flying super high up above the sky. But up close, some of these chariots are the size of 2 blocks of your neighborhood, maybe even more. And the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Okay? It says, Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off on this side according to it. And who has stole the nation of Israel and made them into slaves in America? Okay, the Edomites did. It says that everyone that swerve shall be cut off on that side according to it. Okay, let me see. So let me scroll down here. So that was pretty much all there was there. So you got like a good idea of the size and what some of the chariots look like. Lord's will, I'm gonna get a picture. Okay. Also, something else you must know about the chariots of Israel is that they are piloted by angels. Okay, and the angels look like so-called black men. Okay, that's what the angels look like. They look like so-called black men. But you're going to find that out in this lesson. It says in Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 4, And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud. Now, when it says a great cloud, right? It's talking about a chariot, and I can prove that real quick. Let's see, we go to the book of Psalm, right? Chapter 104. I'll just okay. The book of Psalm, chapter. I'll just start at 104, verse 1. Bless Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, O my soul. O Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, my power. Thou art very great. Thou art clothed with honor and majesty. Okay? Who coverest thyself with light as a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain. Okay, and this is the key point. Okay, it says, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot. And we know the chariots to be so-called UFOs, and who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So now we come back over here, right? And Ezekiel 1 verse 4, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber. So this chariot, now if you look at some of the chariots, they look like fire or are moving lights, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was upon it. So yeah, these things can be very, very bright, especially up close. Like one night I've seen a chariot suddenly appear from one part of the sky and flew to another part of the sky. And it was so bright that it almost lit up the night sky. Okay. So it says, and out of the midst thereof as the color of amber. Amber is the color of gold. And when you look at some of these so-called UFOs, they look like gold. Okay? Out of the midst of the fire. You got some chariots that look like gemstones, such as sapphire, such as rubies. You got some chariots that look like platinum. You know, they come in many different variations. So now this is going into what the men look like that came out of these so-called UFOs. All are, may I say, the creatures that came out of these so-called UFOs. Also, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. Okay, and this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. So, you know, they didn't look like buggy green eye aliens with large black eyes and small lips. Okay, they had the likeness of a man. Okay, you want to know what a man looked like? Just go outside and walk around. We see men every day, and everyone had 4 faces. Everyone had 4 wings. Now, it's not that they have 4 faces, because they came in the likeness of a man. We know that a man has only 1 face. Now, when it says they have everyone 4 faces, it means that the looks on their face had a certain kind of appearance. Like, you can look at a man and the look on his face could say it all, you know, serious, strict, you know, stern, rigor, unyielding. So it says, and everyone had four wings, and their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. Okay? And they sparkled like the color of burnished brass. So these angels, now, what color is brass? Brass is a brownish color. So if you take brass and you burn it, what color is it going to be? It's going to be a very dark color. So these angels had the appearance of dark-skinned men. And they had 4 feet. I mean, selected not 4 feet. They had dark skin, very dark skin, and the sole of their feet was like the sole of a calf's foot. It says, and they had the hands of a man under their wings, okay, on their 4 sides, and they 4 had their faces and their wings. Okay, so now you know. It said 4 faces because there was 4 of them. Each of them had a kind of look on their face. Their wings were joined one to another. They turned not when they went. They went everyone straight forward. Okay? As for the likeness of their faces, they had the face of a man and the face of a lion. Not that it was the actual face of a lion, you know. It just meant that one had a face, a look on his face that, you look at a lion, the first thing that's going to happen is you're going to become scared, terrified, right? So one of these angels had a scary look on his face. You know, lions are also known for their strength. So this guy could have had the look of a one that had strength. Okay, on the right side, and they had 4, and they 4 had the face of an ox. Okay, on the left side, and an ox is a stern creature, and they 4 also had the face of an eagle. Okay. Thus were their faces, and their wings stretched upward. 2 wings out of every one were joined one to another. 2 covered their bodies. And they went every one straight forward whither the Spirit was to go. They went, and they turned not when they went. Okay, as for the likeness of the living creatures, their appearance was like burning coals of fire, and like the appearance of lamps. So they had like a glow to their body, so you can better understand. It went up and down among the living creatures, and the fire was bright. Okay? I mean, you can only imagine that, right? And out of the fire went forth lightning. Man. And the living creatures ran and returned as the appearance of a flash of lightning. Now, as I beheld the living creatures, behold, one wheel upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. Now, with the 4 looks on his faces, with the 4 looks on his face. Okay, he didn't have 4 faces. He had 4 different kind of looks on his face. Okay, stern, strong, unyielding. Okay. Eagles are also known for their pride, so let me see. The appearance of the wheels This is going into the Chariots, okay? So this is the appearance of the Chariots. So the appearance of the Chariots, right? Because the chariot looks like a wheel within a wheel. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl. Beryl's like a greenish color, I believe. And they four had one likeness, and their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Here, I'll show you an example of that. Let's see. Bible. Let's type in UFO. You can better understand. See how bright that looks? Okay, check this picture out. Okay. I'm not sure what's going on here with that, but okay, but if you look here, okay, you see the top there has the appearance of a wheel, and then the bottom part right here is like a wheel of a wheel. Okay, here's a more clearer picture of a chariot. You see the windows up here at the top? It looks like a wheel within a wheel, right? Another one. You know, you got the windows, then it looks like a wheel within a wheel. These things are huge, man. These are chariots. Okay? Let me see. So that, let me see. So the appearance of it was the wheel of a wheel. When they went upon their four sides, and when they turned, it says, and they turned not when they went. I mean, right. I mean, like you look at an airplane, you know, it's got to make a long left turn or a long right turn, but chariots can just zigzag. They can go up or down, and you know. As for their rings, they were so high that they were dreadful, and their rings were full of eyes. And I believe the eyes is talking about the windows here. Like this will be a ring right here, and what you see right here is a window. Okay? So their rings were full of eyes round about them four. Okay? And when the living creatures went, the wheels went by them. So in other words, their chariots followed them. And when the living creatures were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up. Okay, whithersoever the spirit was to go, they went thither, was their spirit to go, and the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creatures was in the wheels. Okay, when those went, these went. So wherever the angels went, the chariots went with them. Okay, and when those stood, the chariots stood. And when those were lifted up from the earth, the wheels were lifted up over against them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. Let me see. So now let's go into the Lord, because when Yahushua comes back, he's coming back in what the world calls a UFO. Behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. Okay, because of him, even so, Amen. So when Yahushua returns, he's coming back in what the world calls a UFO. Matter of fact, we come over here, okay, we go to 2nd Estrus, chapter 13, verse 1. Okay, now just view the whole chapter. Okay, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night. Okay, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. Right, because when Yahweh come back, he's coming back with thousands of angels. And the angels are going to be riding in what the world calls UFOs. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Right, because we just read it here in Revelation 1 verse 7. When Yahweh returns, he's coming with clouds, and every eye shall see him. So people are going to be afraid of Yahweh when he returns, compared to what the Christian churches like to talk about. They tell you that when who the world ignorantly called Jesus makes his grand return, everybody's gonna feel at peace, and everyone's gonna be holding hands, and there's going there's there's gonna be no more wars, which he's coming back to end the wars. Who the world calls Jesus, his name is Yahweh. He's coming back to end the wars, but he's not coming back for peace. He's coming back for the sword. As a matter of fact, we can find that in Matthew 10 verse 10. Okay, Matthew chapter 10 verse 10. No, it's Salakia. It's 10 verse 31. No, hold on. Okay, 10 verse 34. These are the words of Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus. Matthew 10 verse 34. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Okay, so when Yahweh returns, thousands are going to tremble at him because, and yeah, when he come back, man, he's coming back to destroy, but also to bring deliverance to his elect men, whosoever they may be out there. And anybody who offended the Lord's elect, that are heathens or of the 2/3, they're going to be destroyed by Yahweh and his angels as well when they come back. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it filleth the fire. So in other words, when it says out of his mouth, that's talking about light. That's talking about the laser beams, which is pure concentrated fire, which is going to come out of his chariot and burn up those that are in his vicinity. And after this I beheld, lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. So many is going to stop fighting together, like many nations and their military is going to stop fighting together to fight against Yahweh. But I beheld, lo, he engraved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. So Yahweh's chariot was so big, it's described as a mountain. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So Yahweh's chariot is so big that Estrus here could not see the region of it. He couldn't see the end. He couldn't see where this chariot ended because it was so big. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. Right, because the Lord's going to be the one to harden their minds to fight against Yahweh. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he had sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he casts out sparks and tempests. Okay, so out of his mouth he casts sparks and tempests. And that sparks and tempests is that pure concentrated fire. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up, so that burned them up everyone, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be pursued, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Okay, so yeah, Yahushua is coming back to do business. Lord's will, this video is edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. With that, I'm going to say Shalom. Is on to the next one.